Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about how you can display image from bytes. So we have usually in Flow we have two ways of displaying the image. We have the first way, it's using assets, which is if we go over here and if I add an image over here. So this is an image widget, and you can see we have the image type here, and we have two types. So we have the network type and the asset type. But there is actually a third type, which is not over here in the dropdown, which is displaying image from bytes. And displaying image from bytes means that the image will be displayed based on bytes and not the arrow or the assets. So the assets, of course, it's coming from here. So this is the assets, and the arrow, of course, is an image from an arrow. So in my particular case, what is the use case? So let's talk a little bit about what is the use case and when you want to use image from bytes. So in my particular case, I want to use images from bytes when the image or the URL it's not ending on .png, sorry, or JPEG. And in my particular example, this image over here is an actual image. So there is nothing else in this code except the image. If you open the arrow, which is this arrow, it's actually coming from the Bulgarian archive, the national archive. And if you open this arrow, you can actually see that this arrow it's not ending on .png, for example, or it's not ending on .jpeg or PNG. Sorry, on JPG. And because of that, because it's not ending on this, if we try to open this image inside Flow or to use, not to open, but to use this image. So if I go to network tab, for example, and click over here, so this is one of the image, for example, that's currently used. And if I try to use this image, I should see the actual image over here, but you probably see that it's not displaying, which means it will probably not display. So if I go back to my running mode, and if I instant reload, you actually see that it will not display the instant reload. Actually, while this reloading, the instant reload actually it's getting better and better every time, and it's super fast. It's supposed to take 10 minutes, and it's around 10 minutes right now. It's 10-15 minutes, something like that, which is super fast. And let's hope it will load now. Yeah, so let's click over here, and then this is the old image. Like this is the image that I will show you how you can display, and below that image is the actual image that I try to display. And you can actually see that we get object event. This object event is an error. It is an error actually. If we go back to the Flow project, this is the image that is currently displaying. And this is the image that I try to display. So, like I said, if the image is not ending on JPEG, it will not work. So, of course, people will say, why don't you just put PNG on the end and it will display? Unfortunately, it will not work this way. And even if I try with JPEG, it will again not work. And if I try with PNG, it will again not work. I actually know that this image is JPEG, so if I write JPEG, it should open, but it's not opening. And if I instant reload again this page, you'll also see that I will get the same error over here. And you can actually see over here that we're getting the same error. So it's not working. For sure, it's not working. And then let me actually walk you through how you can actually display images from memory. If we have something like this URA, which is not ending on image, and you have the same problem or the same issue like I do, and like I said, I want to display those images in my app coming from the Bulgarian Archive, National Archive website, I will show you how you can do that just now. Okay, so first of all, you need to display them using a custom widget. And the reason for that is because we are going to use something that is called, let me go to my custom widget. We're going to use something that is called image.memory. So when we use this image.memory, this will actually get the image as bytes and not as network or not as assets. So we are going to use that image.memory. And also just to notice you that the code will be available in my GitHub repo. So the link to the repo will be available in the description below. And actually, before using image.memory, which will display the image as bytes, the image from bytes, actually not as bytes, but image from bytes, we actually need to get the image. So I actually tried a couple of different approaches to take the image as bytes. There are a couple of different approaches you can get it. You can get the image, but the best one that I came up, and the best one that will use as little code as possible and as little logic as possible, is to actually use an API call. So when I go to the API call, the API call that I'm going to use is very simple API call. The API call that I'm going to use is only, it says download file, which is actually downloading the file. Or it's not technically it's not downloading the file, but it's like getting the file. And that's why the method type will be get. And the URA will be the URA that you're going to specify for the image. Because in my case, I want them to be dynamic. So I will, that's why the URA it's dynamic over here. And then I have only one variable. And if you put it like that with the brackets, you can actually see more information when you go to the I. But if you put it like brackets, you can actually use this variable over here. So the variable will be URA. It should be the same name, lower cases. Just keep that in mind. And then this should be a string. It's not a list. And I have a default value. It's always a good practice to actually have a default value. The query parameters are empty, and the headers are also empty. So like I said, a very simple API call. And then in order to use this API call, I have to do one thing. I have to actually supply this API call over here, and then I have to actually see when I supply this API call, what is the code that is being generated, and then I can copy this code. So in my case, I'll put the text over here, and then I'll go to actions, and then I go to add a new action. I want to add, they changed this a little bit right now, so everything it's not collapsed, so you have to collapse it. I don't know if this is a good or a bad practice. And then API call, I'll click on API call, and then the API call that I want to do, I want to use is download file, and then the URL will be just something. In this case, I will just use wherever I want to. And I have an error because I didn't put the true or a false states. I will delete this one right now because I don't need them. I just want to see the actual code. And then if I'm ready, I'm done with this. And then I have to click on this button over here, which is the developer menu, and click view code. So when I click a view code, then I have to click on my text that I just added, and the code that I want to use is this code over here. So it's this code over here. So let me copy it right now and then go back to my page. I don't longer need this text, so I will delete it, because the purpose of this text was only to see what is the source code of Fluidflow and how Fluidflow are using the API codes. So when I'm done, I actually have to create this future, which will return the bytes. So it will actually return the bytes of the image. And I'm using the API code over here. So let me just show you. If I paste what I just copied, if I paste it over here, you can actually see that this is the same thing as over here. So what is the difference? The first of all, if you want to use the API code, you have to import. So the import is this one: import dot slash background backend, sorry, and then slash API underscore requests slash API underscore codes dot dart. And this is the import. And because you're importing this, you have to actually, on the right side, when it says widget settings, you have to exclude it from compilation, or else it will not compile. If you don't exclude it from compilation, it will not compile because of this import. This import is coming from the Fluidflow source code, by the way. And then, if you want to actually, let me just say that real quickly, because I recently changed my GitHub repo. And if you go to my GitHub repo right now, this is my GitHub repo. I actually have the source code right now. So if you click on the source code, you get to the library, and then in the library you can actually see the source code of Fluidflow, which is great because you can see how Fluidflow was built and how it was structured, and everything related to Fluidflow. Okay, great. And then let's go over here. So let's go back to the import. So we imported this excluded from compilation, like I said, and now you should not see the errors anymore. So download file co.co, you should not see the errors. And then we have to actually have one parameter, and the parameter that we're going to have, it's link. So we are going to have link, and this will be the actual link of the image, and this will be a string, and it will be a nullable. So we can receive nullable value from here. It's okay actually, because we will have a no safety check, and the no safety check is this one. So it's widget.link, and then question mark, and then empty string. If we get no, it will just put an empty string over here. Great. So let me delete this one because I don't need it. I have already done that. This is coming from the link. This is coming actually from the parameter. And the final thing is that we're going to return the link as bytes. So we are going to do that. So let me actually rename that. So let me say API co. So it's more readable. So it should be like something like API code, and then that response will be the response from the API code. We have this. So if it's no value, just for no value reasons, and then we have that body bytes, and that body bytes will actually return int 8 list, which is bytes. Which is the data type of bytes. And because we don't have the data type as bytes over here, we have this upload file bytes, but this is not actually the same as int 8 list, which is not bytes. It's actually an object which is containing bytes. That's why we cannot use this thing, or it's complex to use it this way. Okay, great. So when we returning this, it is actually when we return it, then we can use it, and we are using it as a future. And we're using it as a future because we actually want to wait for the image to load from the API code. That's why we're using it like that. That's why we're using it as a future build, and the future build will be bytes. Great. And then the final thing that we're going to return, we're actually going to return circle progress indicator, which will actually circle if the when the image is loading, it will actually circle it. Of course, you can change that to wherever you want to. And then if it has an error, it will actually display the error. But if it's loaded the image correctly, it will if it's loaded the API correctly, actually, it will go to this and just put the bytes to the image. And this is what it's producing. If we go back, and I think I can go to my test mode and click over here, and you can actually see the circle, and then you can see the actual image. The circle is very huge, and the reason for that is because I'm using the widget is actually, I made it 500 to 500 height, but of course um, you can change that, and the circle will be smaller. And also, if you want the circle to be smaller, as I said, I'm not a UI person, but I think you can put it in the container. I think you can safely put this inside the container and then put the circle progress indicator inside this container, and then you can specify like 50 to 50, let's say, pixels or something like that. And then the circle image will be only 50 by 50. Great. And then we can use it, and then we can use the custom widget that we just created. And then we have to specify the width and the height, of course, and then we have to specify the image. So this is one image that we specified. Let's try with another one. So like I said, this is one image. This is the image that we were talking about. But if we change the ID of GID, we will actually get another image. So let me show you what I mean. This is the image that we just talked about. And then if I change the link to this link that I just showed you, we'll get this image. Those are actually old images, like I said, from the Bulgarian archive. And they're like, I don't know, like from uh, 18, the end of the 18th or 19th century, actually. And if I change this link over here, to the image that I just showed you, and then go back to the test mode and instant reload the test mode. And now the test mode is loaded. If I click this, if I click on the title, which is a source list by drag and drop, it will go to my main menu, and you will see the image. Let's click over here. You see the circle, and then the actual image. I actually didn't delete uh, the image that I show you at the beginning, which will not load. So let me just delete it real quickly, and real quickly instant reload the test mode again. And now it's loaded. And again, if I click the title, I will go to the main menu, and you actually see the image that is being in load, and we don't have any errors over here because I just delete the image that was not loading. So this is how you display images as bytes. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And before you go, I just want to let you know that I set up a Discord channel, which will be for my 3,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for everyone who subscribed to the channel. The Discord channel will be officially announced when I reach the 3,000 subscribers. It is well structured. It will be well structured with the general tab, which you can see the info, the news. It will have also click to talk, so you can actually talk to other members of the channel. And we have the YouTube videos as well, where you can see all the YouTube videos. You can also have, if you want to, if you want to request a video, you can go to video requests, and then we have the paid members from YouTube, which they have a separate channel where they can talk. I also have from the mentoring sessions, we have the paid members. And then it's structured by backend, Flow API calls, Superbase, SQLite. And then you have the design, where you can ask design questions. We have the custom code, which is code expressions custom functions, custom widgets, custom actions, and Flowflow source code. We can talk about the Flowflow source code as well, and we have integrations as well, pub dev packages, platforms. If you want to integrate different platforms, we have the general integrations. And then we have, you don't see it from my face, but we have also the settings. We have the dynamic links, we have the push notifications, we have the app settings, we have the Android deployment, we have the iOS deployment, and we have the web deployment. And the last thing that we have is actually we have the languages, and we have other languages. So we have like Swedish, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, and all other languages that people from those countries or those languages can talk in their own language. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much for all the subscribers. And before you go, I just want to say that the paid membership for YouTube is now open. So you can be a paid member to my YouTube channel, which means a lot. And thank you very much for all the people who are right now paid members to the channel.